Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video like up. The quiet charm of Hope Valley seemed to tremble under a strange mix of hope and hesitation this week. The one steady rhythm of life, children laughing near the schoolhouse, horses trotting past the cafe, and the church bell signaling morning prayers felt slightly altered. Something new was stirring beneath the surface, and everyone could sense it. Elizabeth Thornton stood by her window, morning sun spilling across her desk where half-written lesson plans lay untouched. Her mind wasn't on arithmetic or poetry, was on Nathan Grant. Their relationship, which had been slowly blossoming through small smiles, subtle glances, and unspoken understanding, had reached a quiet but powerful turning point. After the winter festival where Nathan had taken Elizabeth's hand under the glowing lanterns, something changed between them. Their friendship had deepened into a connection that neither could ignore. But Elizabeth, ever cautious, feared that the joy she was feeling might be tested sooner than she could imagine. Nathan had received a new assignment, a temporary one. He told her, but the RCMP post in Union City needed him for a few weeks. "It's just routine," he had said, his calm voice betraying the storm in his eyes. Elizabeth nodded, though her heart whispered otherwise. Hope Valley had lost too many people to distance and duty. Meanwhile, the town itself buzzed with a mixture of excitement and anxiety. Rosemary Coulter, ever the voice of flair and energy, had launched a brand new edition of the Valley Voice, this time dedicated to the new frontier of hope. Valley, the headline story hinted at a mysterious investor planning to open a railway extension through the valley, something that could bring opportunity but also threaten the town's quiet soul. Lee Coulter had been skeptical. He stood outside the lumber mill watching a group of men discuss survey maps. Every time progress comes knocking, something sacred gets pushed aside. He murmured to Bill Avery, who had stopped by for a cup of coffee. Bill, older but sharper than ever, raised an eyebrow. Maybe it's the start of a new chapter. Hope Valley can't stay frozen in time forever, Lee. But deep down, Bill had his doubts too. The new investor, who went by the name Charles Wyndham, was a man few people knew much about. He'd arrived unannounced from Hamilton, dressed in a fine suit, speaking in polite but measured tones. Some said he had ties to Lucas Bouchard's former business network, while others whispered that his true interest lay not in the railway but in acquiring land near the old coal mine. Faith Carter, now fully committed to running the Hope Valley Clinic, found herself drawn into a very different kind of crisis. A young boy named Timothy had come in with a strange illness that puzzled her completely. With the town still limited in supplies, Faith reached out to Carson Shepard, who was working in Union City. Their reunion over letters at first reopened emotions Faith had long tried to suppress. Carson's letter, gentle but direct, ended with words that shook her. "I'm coming back to Hope Valley. It's time." The return of Carson would soon send ripples through every corner of town, particularly as Faith's growing closeness to one of the town's new residents, Dr. Henry Lowell, was beginning to attract attention. Henry was charming, intelligent, and dedicated, but mysterious about his past. Rosemary had once joked, "He's got the look of a man who's run from something and landed straight into Hope Valley's heart." While everyone seemed wrapped up in change, Elizabeth's son, Jack Jr., faced his own challenge. He had started asking more about his father, about the Mountie who had given his life for Hope Valley. Nathan, who had grown close to Jack, tried to answer the boy's questions as gently as possible. But one evening when Jack Jr. asked, "Are you going to leave like my dad did?" Nathan had no answer. It was that very question that lingered in Elizabeth's mind the night before Nathan's departure. She walked with him to the edge of town where the mountains glowed pink in the evening light. "Promise me," she said softly, "that you'll come back." "I always do," Nathan replied, but there was a heaviness in his voice that Elizabeth couldn't shake. The next few days in Hope Valley unfolded with strange undercurrents. Rosemary's paper broke a shocking story. Someone had been buying up property quietly through third-party names. Land near the old mine, the river bend, and even a portion near the schoolhouse road were changing hands. The townsfolk began to murmur, wondering who was behind it. Bill Avery, now semi-retired but never one to ignore suspicion, decided to investigate. With the help of Florence and Molly, who were more than eager to dig into rumors, he discovered something startling. The purchases all traced back to Wyndham Enterprises, the same company funding the railway expansion. And among the old records was a familiar signature, Lucas Bouchard's. Lucas's name had not been mentioned much lately, though his absence still haunted Elizabeth in quiet moments. She had received one letter from him months earlier, saying he was pursuing unfinished business in the East. The discovery of his connection to Wyndham brought old emotions rushing back. When Nathan's telegram finally arrived from Union City, it wasn't good news. A train derailment had injured several people, including a Mountie under his command. He would have to stay longer. Elizabeth tried to stay strong for Jack, but the distance gnawed at her. Rosemary noticed it first. During their tea one afternoon, she took Elizabeth's hand. "You're allowed to miss him, you know. Hope Valley might be small, but the heart has room for more than just the past." Elizabeth smiled faintly. "Sometimes I wonder if I've learned how to let go or if I'm still holding on to what I've lost." But while emotions brewed quietly, something more urgent was unfolding. A group of men working on the railway project found an abandoned mine shaft that led to a hidden tunnel, with crates containing old documents and explosives, left over from before the mining accident years ago. Bill realized that if anyone tried to restart operations near that tunnel, it could endanger the entire valley. The townspeople gathered for an emergency meeting at the saloon. Lee, Rosemary, Faith, Florence, Molly, Mike, and even Henry Gowan filled the room. Yes, Henry Gowan had returned after months of absence, looking more weary but strangely determined. "If Wyndham plans to reopen the mine," he warned, "then Hope Valley is sitting on a powder keg. And I know because I helped light it once." The air went still. Henry's confession reopened wounds many thought had healed. But there was no time for blame. Rosemary decided to publish the truth in her next edition, even if it meant going against powerful interests. That night, Elizabeth received a surprise visitor. Carson Shepard had arrived early. He'd heard about the tunnel discovery and came straight from Union City to help. Their reunion was heartfelt, but complicated. Faith, upon seeing him, froze. Carson still wore the same kind smile, but his eyes told of heartbreaks endured and promises broken. Within days, Hope Valley was buzzing again, but this time with determination. The townsfolk united to ensure that their town's safety came first. They planned to block Wyndham's crew from digging further until an official inspection could be done. And just as the conflict reached its height, Nathan returned. Dust-covered and visibly exhausted, he rode into town as the church bell rang. Elizabeth ran out to meet him, relief flooding her face. Their embrace spoke volumes about distance, fear, and unspoken love. Nathan told her what he'd learned in Union City. The derailment wasn't an accident. Someone had tampered with the brakes, and the same supplier provided materials to Wyndham's company. Hope Valley wasn't just facing a business deal, was standing on the edge of something criminal. Bill, Nathan, and Henry joined forces to expose the truth. They planned a sting operation of sorts, using a public town meeting as bait. The plan worked. Charles Wyndham, confronted by evidence and the united force of Hope Valley, revealed his hidden agenda. His company was funded by a consortium hoping to reopen the mine for profit, regardless of safety or history. But in that moment of triumph, Henry stepped forward with a surprising confession. "I'll take responsibility for my part in all of this, but I won't let anyone else destroy what we've rebuilt." His decision to testify publicly earned him something he'd long sought: forgiveness. As the storm passed, Hope Valley began to heal once again. Rosemary's front-page story, "The Heart of Hope Valley Beats Stronger Than Ever," captured the spirit of unity that defined them. Faith and Carson found themselves cautiously rebuilding their bond, though Dr. Lowell's departure left behind unanswered questions. For Elizabeth and Nathan, the end of this turmoil marked a quiet new beginning. One evening, as lanterns lit the streets for the town's spring celebration, Nathan asked Elizabeth to dance. The moment felt simple, perfect, and free from the weight of yesterday's fears. I thought I'd lost you to the world out there, Elizabeth whispered. Nathan smiled. You're my world now. The music swelled. The laughter of friends filled the air. And for the first time in years, Hope Valley felt whole. The future still held uncertainty rumors of a new school expansion, whispers of newcomers arriving from Hamilton, and an unexpected telegram hinting at Lucas's possible return, but for tonight. Peace had found its way back to the town that always believed in second chances.